like really superb. So I will be sad that it is leaving us, but it has made us want to play some of the other Ace Attorney games as well. So definitely happy that we played this, and I'm glad that we came back to GAA 2. Are we excited, Thomas? You're not going out tonight? Oh, you said you're sick, right? Oh, sick. While you serve justice, I'll serve democracy. Oh yeah. Wait, which game is that? Is that Helldivers that you're doing that in, Prophet? I know you've referenced that a few times. I don't quite get it. I haven't played it. Okay. Helldivers 2. So wait a minute. Last stream, we are really getting down to the nitty-gritties here of what happened 10 years ago. The judge from Japan was convicted, right? We now realize that he's the one that killed Gregson. And now we're getting down to what happened with the murder of Van Zeeks' brother. And it seems to me that maybe Van Zeeks' brother was the true professor. That's what the evidence was pointing towards. I'm just looking back at what was said. Let's look at what was said most recently. Things have escalated insurmountably. Like, the number of things getting brought back up. This Baskerville thing. That was the story that Iris wrote that wasn't allowed to be published. Why? Because it's tied to what happened 10 years ago. Baskerville was the name of my late brother's widow. Oh my lord. Okay. The dog, the hunting dog that was used to kill the victims that weren't Clint. And then Van Zeeks told us that his brother had a dog. How did this all end up getting scapegoated onto Kazuma's father? I think that's what we are going to figure out on the 11th hour of this game. Tell me then. Tell me what Clint really was. And also, Strongheart either is directly involved or was at the very least aware of everything happening. Which is odd because we're kind of trying to prove that the person presiding over the trial is guilty of something. Lord Clint Van Zeeks was too pure of heart. When he became a prosecutor and went in pursuit of one of the black roots of crime, he drove himself into a corner. He came to the uncomfortable realization that to fight the most fiendish of criminals requires one to become even more fiendish oneself. Clint. The 19th century was a truly miraculous 100 years for Great Britain, and indeed the whole world. New industry, new technology, and with the birth of the Metropolitan Police Service, new law and order. But these dazzling new developments meant even deeper shadows were cast on society. Waters sullied by factories, thick air with noxious fumes and crime, growing daily to fill the darkness. Lord Clint Van Zieks made it his mission to combat that darkness. But as time went on, it slowly ate at his soul, until eventually he was consumed. It's ironic, really, and somewhat surprising, that the truth has once again been unearthed by a Japanese. Once again, what do you mean? 10 years ago, your father, Genshin Asugi, turned up at my office one night. The professor? Yes, beyond all shadow of a doubt, you must issue a warrant to search his home at once. Don't be absurd. The man comes from one of our country's most illustrious families. He's a paragon of justice here in the capital. Yes, that's the point. That's why none of you British can see it. He's using his noble status as a diversion whilst he commits these atrocious crimes behind the scenes. Do you have evidence? Nothing definitive as yet, but he keeps an enormous, savage hound on the estate. We need the full support of the judiciary for this. We're up against a member of the aristocracy. So, a large family estate has a fierce dog. You should know that's commonplace here in Britain. I'm sorry, but I can't possibly put Scotland Yard onto this based on the tenuous accusation of a visiting student. So I turned down Asugi's plea, and as a result, he took it upon himself to visit the Van Zieks mansion on his own. We can only imagine now what happened between the two men. Though we know the outcome, of course, Lord Clint Van Zieks perished. I don't believe this. So, in actual fact, Kazuma-sama's father did? He made the late Lord Van Zieks meet the same fate? He put a permanent end to the professor killings by taking the drastic measure of ending the perpetrator's life. As soon as I heard, I hurried to the mansion. When I arrived, it was easy to grasp what had happened. And what about the will? Asugi must have already taken it. Nothing of the nature was found at the scene. We had no idea of the existence of such a document at the time. I was the only person who knew of the true identity of the professor, so I resolved to keep it a secret, and to guard the secret to the bitter end. So you're admitting to it, that you were behind it all. It was you, then. Pin the crimes on my father. I did what needed to be done in order to protect the law and order of the British Empire. Even if that meant employing an unforgivable ruse. Then it was you who arranged this fabricated evidence. I ordered that detective to take care of it, whilst keeping the truth from him naturally. Gregson. Obviously, he opposed me at first. You off your rocket? We can't do something like that. There's no question that it was Asugi who murdered Lord Van Zieks. The house staff have made statements that they saw the man running from the mansion that night. Yes, well, I've no doubt that it was the Japanese fella. But we haven't got a shred of conclusive evidence against the man. And worse than that, he doesn't keep a dog. So we're short a murder weapon to boot. And we're short on time, Gregson. We must put a stop to the man's rampage for the good of the country. So we'll use whatever means necessary. Do I make myself clear, Detective? I mean... So that night 10 years ago, when I was attacked by those thugs in the back streets, and Genshin's ring was taken, that was him, was it? That was Gregson and some hired help. Then the detective handed the stolen ring to Dr. Wilson, who feigned its discovery from the victim's stomach during the autopsy. And in the light of that decisive evidence, Mr. Asugi was found guilty of the charges brought against him. However, behind the scenes, he had actually already struck a deal with his accusers even, in which he agreed to silently accept the charges. But I just don't believe that part. As far as I knew the man, my father despised such underhanded dealings. It was extremely easy to make him comply. You see, he had one crippling weakness. What weakness? Isn't it obvious? You, Kazuma Asugi. Me? Oh, not the blackmail. Perhaps you have no desire to return to your homeland, Asugi. What? Though I hear you have a 14-year-old son. Agree to cooperate and accept your guilt without contention, and you will see Japan and your son again. You scoundrel! Whether you choose wisely or not, it will be a closed trial by order of Her Majesty. So whatever rash claims you might make in court, we'll have no trouble in stifling them.
I have ascended!
Yes, it's the finale, Diamond! It's actually ending tonight, and tomorrow we are gonna start House and Fata Morgana. You're sat, or perhaps sad. Luckily, if you did enjoy the Ace Attorney segments, there are plenty of other Ace Attorney games that I do plan on streaming. I think our visual novel lineup is a little set right now. Like, we've got House and Fata Morgana starting tomorrow, and then we've also got Process of Elimination after that. As in seated for it. Oh, perfect, Diamond. With a drink in hand, I hope. Cheers. Yeah, it feels good to have a plan for sure.
Kids are gonna love them. Everybody loves them.
Kevin? Kevin. I don't have any problems with it. That's funny. Don't forget that I still have a weapon at my disposal. A document revealing a truth that I know you're desperate to keep hidden. Yes, it hadn't escaped my mind, which is the only reason I'm willing to bargain with you. I only want to protect this country's law and order, you understand? So, what's it to be, Asugi? Kazuma. He did it for me. And as I told him at the time, my motive was simply to protect Britain from the damage the truth would do. To protect this country's law and order. Okay, so why did he end up dead? At any cost.
Objection!
I've never dared let myself even consider this possibility until now. But in the light of all this treachery, I have to ask. The mastermind behind the Reaper of the Bailey. Was it you, Lord Mael Strongheart? That smile says it all. A rather brilliant idea, wouldn't you say, Lord Beric Van Zeeks? That the spirit of your late brother, the paragon of justice, should return to reap justice for his sibling. That's fucked up. Could there be a more appetizing tale for London's masses, I ask you? What brazen I knew that you'd play the part to perfection. But your role really wasn't that of some embodiment of death. No, you were London's guardian angel. An angel with bloody hands? I think not. Those who had cooperated with me already were only too happy to participate in my plan. Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson. My minions worked tirelessly to ensure that the finger of guilt could never come to rest on you. It's all thanks to them that you were exalted as the demigod the Reaper became. But Dr. Wilson left Britain 4 years ago when he was invited to work in Japan. That's right. So I had to employ the services of his young protege after that. Dr. Courtney Scythe. So what with the execution of the professor and the subsequent reign of the Reaper of the Bailey, I've successfully safeguarded law and order in our mighty capital for the past decade. That is everything. My lords, ladies, and gentlemen, I do hereby confess, it was I who sired the concept of the Reaper. However, let me say in my defense... Oh, hi, Dots. Strongheart is such a nice guy. Yes. He just, liked to make people die, and then pretend it was the ghost of the brother of his favorite prosecutor. It was all for the preservation of law and order across the entire empire. I will say, I kind of, in a weird... he's definitely deluded, but he sort of did what was necessary to stop things from spiraling in the public eye. Am I a Strongheart apologist? I might not stay this way, but I kind of get it. Right? They couldn't allow... It would cause public unrest for, one of the major nobility to be a mass murderer. So they had to scapegoat it on someone, which doesn't make it right. But he did kind of save face by not letting it be discovered that it was somebody who was an aristocrat, basically. It just sucks for the people involved because they were pretty much just pawns in his game of trying to preserve the law. But is it such a bad thing to do that? I'm not completely against Strongheart. I think I would have been against Strongheart if Strongheart was personally, if he was actually the professor, and he was, he technically is the Reaper, but we kind of knew that. I don't know, I think he kept the greater good in mind. Lord Strongheart did it. An unforgivable collection of crimes, but still. All those who died at the Reaper's hand were rotten to the core anyway. If it was all in the aid of keeping London safe... There is no one left now who can reveal the precise truth of what happened 10 years ago. Therefore, this trial can go no further. Now, I would like to entreat all those present. Beyond these four walls, nobody need know the truth. Even Her Majesty must be protected from this. I trust you all appreciate the importance of my request. It is, of course, for the good of the country. And can he do this? Can the trial really end now? I have one last question. For the accused, Lord Van Zeeks. What? Of course, I know that you're a highly accomplished prosecutor. So I find it hard to believe that you didn't have any doubts at all. Yeah! Because you didn't want to see it, that's why. That you never suspected your older brother. A dog. A murder dog. Yes, the same thought occurred to me. It was only once, but yes, I couldn't say that I never had my doubts. My brother's sense of justice was extremely strong, perhaps too strong, I observed. At the time, there were members of the aristocracy who were bleeding the country dry for their own gain. And since they were nobles, they were untouchable. For my brother, it was a source of great turmoil. And coincidentally, at the time, the professor began his terrifying reign. During the time of the professor killings, my brother did not appear to be himself. And that made you suspect? Yes. But it was only once, not more. Only once, really? Clint wasn't the culprit. That was my conclusion at the time. And I still believe that now. Do you have any evidence to support that idea? The third victim was the Lord Chief Justice at the time. It was he who had recognized my brother's potential and trained him as a prosecutor. No matter what the circumstances, it's unthinkable that my brother could have killed his friend and mentor. That will do. Neither Clint Van Zeeks nor Genshin Asugi still walk this earth. However much we debate this matter now, we cannot hope to reach a conclusion. But there are only two extant pieces of evidence from the time. The woe-begone ring that acted as the incriminating evidence to condemn Genshin Asugi, and the 3-paged last will and testament penned in black ink and left behind by the man. The wretched truth of what happened is exactly as I have explained. Oh wait, is he still covering up? Later today, I will present myself at the Ministry of Justice for whatever sanction is deemed appropriate. That is all. Court is adjourned.
Objection!
Is it time to call upon Sholmes? Thank you, Kazuma. Me? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have made this 11th hour discovery. What discovery? My lord, I'm afraid I must insist the trial continues. I beg your pardon. As the court has been reminded today, already, we must stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth. And to that end, one particular statement made by somebody in this courtroom moments ago revealed a very subtle contradiction. Oh, is it that we have other evidence from the time? What contradiction? But all I did was ask the accused one simple question. Well, it began with Lord Van Zeeks and his recollection about his brother. But Lord Strongheart didn't permit the defendant to speak at length. I merely pointed out that we can draw no further useful conclusions here. So where on earth is the contradiction? One of them definitely just said something contradictory. It's time to identify who. Ah! Strongheart. It was Lord Strongheart, I'm sure of it. Something he said was slightly off. Come on, Ryunosuke. Think back to his words. Find the problem. Neither Clint Van Zeeks nor Genshin Asugi still walk this earth. However much we debate the matter, hi twice, we cannot hope to reach a conclusion. Okay, wait, is it the thing about the ink? We can't see the color of the ink. The woebegone ring that acted as the incriminating evidence to condemn Genshin Asugi, the 3-paged... 3-paged? Sir? Did we omit a page? Okay. Okay. I'm letting, since Steven can't be here tonight, I'm letting him know what's happening. Croy, I need that emote, actually. Okay. Let's keep going with it. Lord Strongheart, would you care to explain? We're all about to subscribe to TTV Kuroi Tsubasa Tenchi. We are. I can afford subscriptions again. I had to cancel, basically, last summer, I canceled all of my Twitch subs. Except for Spec. Explain what, Council? Among the statements you just made a few moments ago, something you said was inconsistent with a certain piece of evidence we have. Inconsistent. And whilst an inconsistency remains, the defense has a right to pursue an explanation. Ryunosuke, what? Let me warn you about the statements you are making, Counsel. They may very well prove fatal. Claim my words contained a contradiction. With which piece of evidence, I ask you? Oh, thank you for asking. It's the Asugi papers.
Take that!
This here is the will left behind by Mr. Asugi. The 2-paged will. What? Yet moments ago, your precise words were... the 3-paged last will and testament. Could it be that originally there was a 3rd page? For a moment, I thought perhaps you'd identified something worthwhile, but it's a mere trifle, I see. A trifle? A trifle! Governor Kaiden! What could I do for you, sir? You were present when the Japanese man penned his last will and testament. I was there for sure. I remember the black wear-em-like scrawls to this day. What? And I'm quite certain, my lord, that there was a 3rd page at the time. What? Only the first 2 pages were the actual will, though. If I mind correctly, the 3rd was a message to his lad back in Japan. For legal purposes, we required only his will. And we would nay have wanted any uncomfortable words about Britain to get back to Japan, eh? So it was decided that the 3rd page ought nay be sent.
Objection!
How dare you make that decision? I had a right to know what it said, to hear my father's final words to me. The courtroom is no place for sentimentality, Counsel. As it happens, I have the third page of the document with me here now. My father's last message! It will be given to you at the end of the proceedings. It'll be too late once the trial's over. We need to know what it says now. Even the slightest thing may give us a vital clue. My lord, the defense calls for Genshin Asugi's last words to his son to be read out loud before the court now. Your request is denied. The inevitably maudlin words can be of no consequence
Objection.
now. Prosecution agrees. The court should know the content of that message. Every possible piece of evidence must be thoroughly examined. Very well then, Governor Kaiden. You will read the third page of the document for all present to hear. Yes, sir! Only I should point out, my lord, that can I actually read worm language. Oh, true, it's in Japanese. This beautiful handwriting? Shame on you, Barry. Oh! If I could be of assistance here, I would be happy to translate the words into English for the court. Father? I like how people just show up on the witness stand and, like, it's not a problem. You're still here, are you, Dr. Mikotoba? And naturally, I consider myself a member of the judiciary, albeit a lowly one. But perhaps I should quietly withdraw after I've translated Genshin's message. Your cooperation is much appreciated. Kazuma, the truth is shrouded in darkness, a darkness only our clan's great sword can pierce. Perhaps he is part ninja. Mighty Karuma, twist thy head and watch them fall, all thy mortal foes. Is this why he cut the chests? That's the end of the message, it would seem. Oh, it's a haiku. Twist thy head. Father. What is Karuma? The name of the Asugi clan's famous sword. A razor-sharp blade known to all, passed down for generations. It embodies the Japanese spirit. It's not known to me. It's the katana sword that was submitted as evidence earlier in the proceedings. The one worn by the prosecution counsel when he confronted Inspector Gregson. All these procrastinations are beginning to try my patience. Adjournment of this court is long overdue. As the presiding judge, I have been as accommodating as possible with the will of the courtroom. However, despite all that, no new information has come to light. Pursuit of justice, Lord Clint Van Zeeks tragically lost all sense of morality. When he murdered his former mentor, clearly he was already devoid of his normal faculties.
Objection!
How dare you! I refuse to believe that of my brother. Too much time has passed. We cannot ever hope to know more than we do now. Especially since the alleged will that was penned in his final moments appears to have been lost forever. Urgh. Lord Strongheart, you appear to be in something of a hurry to wrap things up. I wonder why. We've heard you state time and again during these proceedings that everything you did was in the interests of protecting British law and order. And I stand by that. Without the Reaper, we could never have achieved the reduction in crime the capital has seen.
Objection!
I'm kind of like wondering though, what tea is left to spill? Is this just about getting even with Strongheart? Because like he was a manipulative ass that got lots of people involved in his own plan killed, right? Which is not cool. And they don't want him to get out scot-free, but is there something more? Picture's not empty yet. Um... What about Inspector Gregson, then? And Dr. Wilson. They were no criminals. You used them to achieve your ends. And then you had them killed. However you dress it up, there was nothing fair or just about that. Lord Strongheart, what exactly is it you're hiding? Okay. Dr. Mikotoba. Were you not to quietly withdraw after the translation of your former associate's will? In this courtroom, no argument carries weight unless it is supported by evidence. And it would seem that the defense has no more evidence to present. In which case, I hereby order all discourse from these proceedings to be struck from the record. Oh, Chimazing is unicorning. This is my last chance. Mr. Naruhodo, I have to present some decisive evidence now or it's all over, but can I? Wait, my lord. As it happens, the defense does have evidence to present. What? Don't be absurd! There is nothing of relevance remaining from the time!
Objection!
It's high time you realize something, my lord. This gentleman has an uncanny habit of producing evidence at the final hour that had escaped everyone else's attention. Nonsense. What is it, Ryunosuke? What do you have? I dare say. The final decisive piece of evidence that will reveal the whole truth about the situation. How? How can you... Decisive. Well, it would appear there's no escaping it now, my lord. Are Ryunosuke and Kazuma, you know, yeah, they are. Let it be so. Present whatever you think you have that can settle this decade-old enigma, if you're capable. What exactly is the evidence that the defense claims to be so decisive? Okay. Final decisive piece of evidence that will reveal the whole truth of this rotten tale. There is nothing of relevance remaining from the time. Is it the sword? I feel like it's the sword. Because it was his father's sword, right? Like, what else would I even go off of for this? What if it's this? Have we even used this? This is from the time, technically. It's this or the sword. That is the truth. That's what I'm going with. The red hairpiece. Why would this be decisive evidence? I feel like it's the sword, and if it's not the sword, we do the photograph.
Take that!
What did I say, Counsel? If you are capable, were my words. Ah! Oh. Okay, so it's not the sword. Come on, Ryunosuke. We know that Asaki-san negotiated with Strongheart 10 years ago, using the last will and testament of Lord Van Zeeks as bargaining power. And yet, after his death, that document could be found in his cell prison. So, does the fact that it was never found mean it's so hidden somewhere undiscovered after all these years? So wait, what links to where it could be? Is it the photo? Would it be Gregson's office?
Take that!
No, I'm wrong. Shit. All right. Think. Is it the chests? Shit. Okay. Ah, crap. All right. Think. Gregson's trunk. They said twist thy head, right? Hey, Yummy Ellie. Okay.
Oh.
It's this. It's definitely this.
Take that!
No! It goes with what he said! Twist thy head! Oh, I'm dead. Crap. We have to redo the scene. I'm sad. Yes. Guilty. Even though that makes no sense at this point. I doubt Genshin would have known about the figure. Yeah, I'm guessing it's Gregson's chest then. It has to be the chest that has the slash mark. Alright, I'm going on a quick pee break. Bigger pee. Why yes, I am back. Addie is here. What's up, Addie? Unicorn Overlord has given thy judgment? No. Alright. So we know that the little soldier figurine thing is definitely gonna come up. How am I? I am doing great today. How are you? We are beating Great Ace Attorney tonight, and it feels amazing. It could be the Asugi paper. TBH, it could be. I hope you're having a lovely weekend, Addie. Today's been kind of a packed day for me. In a good way, though. It was a good weekend day.
Take that!
Wrong again. I continue to be wrong. Is it the Asugi papers? Is it that seems too obvious to me. Hasn't been a bad weekend. Eurovision week? Oh, true. I don't follow it super closely, but I've been hearing mixed things, that there was a controversy, but also that it was a good watch, and etc.
Take that!
Sir! What was the specific wording of the new thing we saw in the Asugi papers? Well, it's annoying. Okay, hold on. Oh, I think I get it. Been an interesting year. Yeah, it sounds like it. It's in the watch. It's in the watch. It's gotta be the watch.
Take that!
Holy shit, it's not the watch. What? Oh my god. Okay. It's not the watch. There's nothing in here. The truth is shrouded in darkness, a darkness only our clan's great sword can pierce. Mighty Karma, twist thy head and watch them fall, all thy mortal foes. Shrouded in darkness? Question mark? I thought it would be the chests. Passport, autopsy report, the lucky charm. Gregson's pocket watch. Evacuation drill. No, it can't be that. I'm really surprised that it wasn't any of the things we presented. The autopsy report, probably irrelevant at this point. Oh, is it the notice board? No, it's victims of the Reaper. There's no way. Autopsy board. Gregson photograph, it's also not. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. Well, yeah, but at this point I played so much evidence, I don't know. Oh. What if it's this? Scarlet ink stains run visible or are visible on the little and ring fingers. Whose autopsy is this? It's Clint. Could it be this? I'm just gonna present it.
Take that!
No, I'm wrong again. We know Asagi-san negotiated with Lord Strongheart 10 years ago using the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeeks as bargaining power. After his death, the document couldn't be found in his cell at the prison, so does the fact that it was never found mean that it could still be hidden somewhere undiscovered after all these years? My lord, it does have evidence. Okay. I mean, like, is it in the hole from the other trial that was in, Shamspear's room? Like, what? Where the fuck is it? I don't have anything that says that. Asagi-san negotiated with Strongheart 10 years ago using the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeeks as bargaining power. Does the fact that it was never found, the last will and testament of Clint Van Zeeks, could it still be hidden somewhere undiscovered after all these years? Where is it hidden? Do I need to examine something again? Mighty Karma, twist thy head. Ah! Oh my. Oh my god. It's written as head in Japanese, but it's pronounced as Kashira, I believe. Kashira. So, Mr. Asugi's words really mean twist the butt of the hilt. Oh! Is that a sheet of tightly wound parchment? It says in the beginning, it says Jenny. Scarlet ink. It's written in scarlet ink. I penned this, my last will and testament, in the final moments before my inevitable and willing death. This is it, isn't it? Mr. Naruhodo, look at the signature at the end. Clint Van Zeeks. And the date, 10 years ago, on that fateful night. So for 10 years, it's been silently concealed inside Karma, and nobody knew. The last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeeks. Wait. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is unbelievable. Okay. Okay, wait, we need to read it. We need to read it right now. Wait, what? 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 No, I want to examine it, please.
Take that!
There is a single piece of evidence that can clarify what really happened 10 years ago. The last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeeks. Ah, a wonderfully astute observation, I'm sure. But in case it had escaped your notice, that document was lost long ago. That's right, it was. Only... I have it right here. Discovered just moments ago. Impossible! That can't be! Everything that's happened comes back to this will. This document is the key that will unlock the entire mystery. Oh, he looks shook. My brother's last will and testament. Where did you find that? That Genshin, he had some real impact. Ah! My god. It was rolled up inside this. Inside Karma? The ultimate weapon Genshin Asugi obtained has lain undisturbed in the hilt of his sword all these years, just waiting for the right time to emerge and reveal the truth. The signature and seal certainly look official. Ugh. My god, it's true! It's my brother's handwriting, there can be no mistake! I forbid the contents of that document from being read out loud. Do you hear me? I strictly forbid it.
Objection!
You can't do that, my lord. This document could explain everything. That document could literally destroy the meaning of justice in this country. I demand that you hand it to me at once. Why? What are you trying to hide? Could it be that you already know what's written on this page? What are you implying? Court is adjourned with immediate effect. Clear the courtroom.
Objection!
Oh! I love when that... Do that, my lord, and you'll suffer a fatal blow as Lord Chief Justice. I know, Diamond, I know. I beg your pardon. forcibly ending a trial without good reason. And not any trial. A closed trial by order of Her Majesty the Queen. How limber! To defy the monarch's will is treason. Lord Clint Van Zieks really did pen a will that day. It's exactly as the young Japanese man said. Read it out, now. We have a right to hear what's in the will. A right and a duty. Well, well. Is he having his breakdown? Well, well, my lord. Rosen, how was your brother's graduation? Yes, we got a face crack out of Strongheart finally. What has transpired since the beginning of stream? Genshin Asugi did actually kill Van Zieks' brother. So many people, and I hate people. Yeah, so Kazuma's father found out that Van Zieks' brother was the professor. And when he brought it up to Strongheart, Strongheart said, I'm not gonna do anything about it, because I want to preserve law and order in this country. And if I tell the public that somebody from the aristocracy was a mass murderer, then hell will break loose, which is true. But the problem is, Strongheart also killed the people involved in his plan subsequently later in years, which is awful and bad. So even though he was kind of sorta keeping a good idea in perspective in the terms of like preserving law in Britain, there's definitely something else here. And basically we just pulled out Clint Van Zieks' will out of the sword, the butt of the sword that Kazuma carries around. And now we're about to reveal what it says. So yeah, it's kind of been wild. Also, there was a missing page in Genshin Asugi's will, and it was a freaking haiku that told us about where the will was hidden, which was inside the sword. Was it a sword cane, though? Joe Sawashiro? I forgot about Joe Sawashiro. That guy has my favorite name in that game. Anyways, yeah. It was not a sword cane, it's just the katana that, it's Karuma, carried by Kazuma. Anyways. Well, well, my lord, it would appear as though proceedings aren't going to go quite as you'd hoped. You fools. Go ahead, Ryunosuke, read it. Prosecution gives its full support. Very well, then. No, for God's sake. No! Oh, shit, read it! Read it, read it, read it, read it, read it, read it! I pen this, my last will and testament, in the final moments before my inevitable and willing death. The hour is 11 p.m. and I sit at my writing desk in my office. My good friend Asugi stands at my shoulder. He has expressed his intent to invoke the dying ritual of the duel, that I may depart this world with honor, an honor of which I am utterly undeserving. The Japanese are a truly merciful people. I, Clint Van Zieks, Lord of the Manor of the Van Zieks estate, hereby confess the following. I am the killer who has come to be known in society as the Professor, guilty of 4 counts of murder. I will not here discourse the corruption rife among the aristocracy, which is to me as one of them so apparent. However, 6 months ago, I took the life of a member of the House of Lords at the heart of the depravity. A demon who habitually sacrificed the common man to further his own interests, abusing his position of power. The law is impotent against such vile avarice. Only a fellow demon can rid society of this menace. That demon was my quarry, upon whom I willingly set my great hound. But, though I am a hunter of some experience, I am a poor felon, it seems. My guilt was at once recognized by another, and I became subject to his extortion. He held over me the threat of exposing my wicked crime, my beloved wife and brother. Under that threat, I have done this man's bidding for months now, killing those... Oh, so this was Strongheart. Okay. Alright, GG. GG. The final scapegoat has been revealed, and it was Clint. This was Strongheart. Oh god. Wow. Okay. As I watched my former mentor perish before my eyes at the jaws of the hound I commanded, I realized that I had lost the last shred of decency within me and sunk to the level of a wild beast. There is no path back to the light. Be it I or my dear friend Asugi who dies this night, I am eternally damned. To my extortioner, male Strongheart, may you feel the jaws of the beast at your throat every time you swallow. Boom. He's smiling. So now we know, yes, Clint Van Zeeks was a murderer. But somebody was directing him and naming his victims. His extortioner, Lord Male Strongheart. It was you! Lord Strongheart, a moment ago, you claimed that what the court had just heard could destroy justice in this country. But you weren't trying to protect justice at all. All you were trying to do was conceal the secret of your true nature and the countless lies you've sacrificed up till now. It just didn't make sense to me that the third victim, the former Chief Justice, was my brother's benefactor and a man of lofty principles. As I said, Clint had no possible reason to kill the man. But you did, didn't you, Strongheart? To eliminate the man who stood between you and the office you'd set your sights on. For his lofty goals. So you used your own hunting dog, Lord Clint Van Zeeks, to take him down. It had to be done. London's unsavory shadows are deep, and the arm of the law fails to reach their depths. Crime must be cut off at the roots, but the Lord Chief Justice at the time couldn't see that. He was weak. Lofty principles, you say? Tantamount to cowardice, if you ask me. Which is why I took his place, in order to fight the crime he was allowing to spread like wildfire. By murdering the man, the Reaper, the Professor, the name makes no difference. As I've explained countless times already, it was all done for the furtherance of law and order in London.
Objection.
Are you going to legitimize the murder of my father now too? Ah, Genshin Asugi. Well, he wasn't unfortunate. I had fully intended to send him back to Japan as we'd agreed. I don't believe you. It was you, wasn't it? You killed him! Probably Gregson. No, it wasn't me who took your father's life. Even though we knew it was Strongheart, do you think the game does a good job keeping intrigue? I do, actually, yeah. I was talking earlier, Rosen, about how I kind of understood, to a degree, what Strongheart's intentions were in terms of, like, covering up certain facts from the public eye, because it made sense. But now it's kind of unhinged and like, oh no, actually, he was behind everything from the beginning. Like, if the story was actually that Clint Van Zieks just was like on a murder rampage to kill aristocracy because he lost himself, then Strongheart doesn't look as bad. But if Strongheart was the one telling him he had to do it via blackmail, then that kind of changes things. But yeah, this game is very, very, very solid. Like, it's very good. One of the best visual novels we've played. Then who? On the night following his mock execution, I went to Logate Cemetery at 3 in the morning with Jigoku. Let's not go that far. But I would say GAA 2 is probably top 5 visual novels we've played. Danganronpa, Zero Escape, 13 Sentinels, and Buried Stars. Those are the only ones I would put above this. Ooh, do I like this more than Paranormasight? I don't know. I really fucking liked Paranormasight. I don't know. It's close. It's close. It's top 6 though, for sure. Like, this game is mad good. I definitely, I'm a GAA2 defender, apologist, whatever. I'll feel awful if you dislike Fata Morgana. Don't worry about that. My opinion shouldn't affect... Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. AI Somnium's being ignored. Yeah. Somnium is worse than this game, for sure, I think. Somnium had iconic moments, but it also had some times that I was like every Somnium. Remember? Oh, Inescapable! Weird that didn't make the high tier list. Look, Inescapable had certain things that were fine, but that game is... Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Upon revisiting it, I think I would put Paranormasight slightly higher than this game. I really liked Paranormasight, but I also really liked this game, so that's my opinion. Judge Jigoku? There had to be a collaborator on the Japanese side to manage Asobi's treatment after his repatriation. Jigoku had fierce ambition. It made him easy to manipulate. Paranormasight just came out of nowhere. I mean, so do all of these visual novels, if I'm being honest. Like, remember the Famicom Detective Club? Where the fuck did that come from? That game, though, was aged and not in a good way, so, yeah. Came out of nowhere and was good. Right. And honestly, Buried Stars. I know you didn't like Buried Stars that much, Rosen, but I fucking loved Buried Stars. Like, I think it might be my 4th favorite visual novel. All the feels in that game were on point for me. You love the secret true ending, not this. Paranormasight got no advertising at all. Yeah, it did not. Also, it being a visual novel by Square Enix was, like, very random. But that game was amazing. I would love another one, or something else that's similar to it. I think my one criticism of Paranormasight, I wish that some of the spookiness that the game had in the very beginning had persisted throughout the game. Like, it was a mystery the whole time, which, like, my favorite genre of visual novel is mystery, of course. But, like, I wish I had kept that creepy feeling to it throughout the game. I think that it was, like, the creepiness was really strong in the beginning, and then it just diminished and turned into straight-up mystery. You mean the jump scares with Akane and June? The jump scares? Like, okay, remember how we felt when we were doing the Ouija board scene? Gag. Alone in the park at night? Gag. Like, those moments stopped happening after the beginning of the game. Also, girl with the side pony who was fucking unhinged made me uncomfortable for a long time. And I didn't know what she was going to do until the end of the game. So, I liked playing as her because I was so scared of her and what she would do. Like, everything about Paranormasight, from the visuals to the writing to the soundtrack, is, like, superb. She had the showdown with the other girl, right, on her couch, remember? And we got the bad end a few times. Yeah, I'm just thinking about Paranormasight makes me miss it.
Oh, well.
We learned that Storytime could not fix her? Yeah, well. There are plenty of others that I'm sure he's trying it with. You know what's funny, though? Storytime watched us play Paranormasight, and as a result of that... Okay, actually, it was Raincode. Storytime watched us play Raincode and then Paranormasight, and because of that, he started playing visual novel. What a compliment. But yeah, you know what? Somnium Files 1, I would say, is about, like, if we were gonna do, like, a tier list of visual novels that we've played, I would probably put Somnium Files 1 on the same tier as this game. Maybe slightly lower, to be honest, in my opinion. And not everybody shares that opinion, but I think GAA2 is really fucking good. GAA1, unfortunately, is really mid because of its pacing. But it's kind of like Trails of Cold Steel 1, where, like, a lot of the game is spent on building up what's going to happen later, and that's just kind of like a byproduct. The Somniums were rough, but the story and twists were just too good for you. Oh, yeah. Tokiko was so fucking iconic. I liked Somnium 1 much more than Somnium 2. I thought Somnium 2 was kind of mid for me. You need to play the Somnium sequel. Do it, Yummy Ellie. It's worth playing for sure. I'm just, like, lukewarm. I'm pretty sure, Somnium Files 3 got teased, right? Somnium 2 had trouble MC oh yeah. What was his name? The guy voiced by Johnny Young Bosch. I kind of wish he had... I felt like his like role in the story was kind of a cop-out for me. It seemingly got teased. We'll see if it pans out. Yeah. I mean, I would play Somnium 3 in a heartbeat. Don't get me wrong. But if we're talking best of the best visual novels, it doesn't make my lists. It is, however, a game that we played and I liked. There have been plenty of visual novels we played that I'm kind of like, you know, fucking Steins Gate, Inescapable, the Famicom detective game. Which, honestly, Famicom wasn't as bad as the other two. It just was not great. Inescapable is in its own tier. Yeah. Well, actually, I would argue Steins Gate is in its own tier. I think Steins Gate was worse than Inescapable.
Hun, sweetie, love, darling.
Look, Inescapable had Ava in it. That means by default it's better than Steins Gate. Like, by far. Inescapable also gave us Geo is actually gay at the end of the game, and it was like... Oh, what?! By own tier, I mean own league? Okay, well... You know what I do like about Inescapable is that every time I streamed it, there was a cult following. Not a cult following, but like, I could tell that there were people that liked the game. Even though it was bad, they still wanted to watch it. And I really appreciate that. I feel like every game kind of comes with that. But our Inescapable group, it felt fun. Your favorite part was the ending when it ended. Well, that's fair. We got to the ending, which means I did good. Steins Gate is like a good story wrapped up in some really goofy harem stuff that feels really cringe. Yeah. Yes, agree. I think Steins Gate did not do a lot that I liked, if I'm being completely honest. There were very few parts of the story that I was legitimately, like, invested in, and everything else was just awful harem. The one scene in Steins Gate that I did like was the one where Kurisu was leaving, knowing that she was probably going to die because of Convergence, but, like, had a heartfelt scene with the main character and Mayuri, and I actually teared up during it. It drew out 5-minute sections to an hour, yes, and we watched a repeatable scene happen so many times.
I shouldn't say things I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm glad that we finished Steins Gate, because that means I don't have to play it anymore. However, I don't really care to ever revisit that series. Like any of the spin-off sequel games, I'm like, absolutely not. No, we're good. I only have so many hours of my life available to stream, and I can't play games like that. Alright, back to Strongheart. Meanwhile, the lists. Oh, I know. And, like, there's so much on the list that's insane. There's so much on the list that is insane foolery. I love looking at the lists. I do. How many entries? Oh, we're at 198. That's beautiful. Oh, Rosen, did you see? I beat another path in Nocturne, and it was very disappointing. Steins Gate Zero is one of the worst stories you've ever seen. Still waiting for Paper Mario to be played before the 1,000-year... What is it? 1,000-year-old door? Is that it? Not every path can be Yakumo Pengi. That still pisses me off. I fell for the trap. The Steins Gate anime fucked me up. So, I think Steins Gate is one of those games, Addy, where, like, you're better off watching the anime. Don't play the game, because the game has horrible pacing. And, like, bad writing. To be fair, the Yakumo ending changes if you beat the super boss before the final dungeon. Are you serious? Fucking hell, don't tell me that. Oh god. The casual sexual assault? I know. That was one of the many times that What, actually, Kuroi, which casual sexual assault? Which one? The one where he envisioned it in his head? Or the one where he actually was doing it? Yeah. Steins Gate, ugh. Ugh. Bad. Bad, bad, bad. Multiple cases. There's more than 3. I'm just remembering. I'm remembering everything now. It's all coming back. And the groping! Yes! That's the one that I was like, wait, there's a 3rd time it happened. Good lord. Good lord. The only good thing to come out of Steins Gate, aside from I do think Kurisu is iconic, reading Ferris's lines. was fun for me. I'm gonna put it on record. Christina's lecture at the beginning of the game is when Steins Gate peaked. I was so bored reading that, and it was like 45 minutes. About, like, quantum time theory. And black holes. Also, did I tell you that, my coworker, like, alluded to Steins Gate, and I think she was baiting me? Like, she literally started talking about CERN. And I was like, this isn't just information people know or happen to know. This is like anime nerds played Steins Gate and then found out later that it was something based on something in real life. Like, it was so weird. I didn't give in to the bait, but I knew. You just need to have the Jordan song played over the... The problem is, the Filing Blues is a really godlike song. One of the best on the album. You wouldn't have taken the bait either? Yeah. I couldn't give in. Like, I didn't even want to bring up a discussion about Steins Gate. So I was like, what if she likes it? What if she doesn't know the truth? And you know what? People don't know the truth if they didn't play the game. I know, Diamond. It's fucking extremely Monka-esque. You wanted to recruit me into CERN. I should bait her back. That's what I should do. I should be like, you ever put a banana in a microwave? Plot twist, she's one of your viewers. Could you imagine? She knows I stream on Twitch. Oh. My goodness. Steins Gate left such scars that when I heard the Mayuri Tutoru sound as a replacement for Griswold in the Diablo speedrun. Yeah. It definitely left damage. There is residual effects of what Steins Gate has done to this community. There's at least one clip. There's 2 clips of me playing Steins Gate that will be immortalized. And we have Tutoru forever. And no one will ever forget when I fucking talked about Rynet Battler, whatever that was. Fake card game that the game really wanted me to know all the rules. That happened for a really long time one night, and I just read the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. Shigoku had fierce ambition. It made him easy to manipulate. That was like a 20-minute tangent. It was a good bedtime story. It was 10 years ago, after he'd stood trial for the destruction of the witness stand, I had words with him. When I told him the position of the Minister of Foreign Affairs could be his, he couldn't agree fast enough. Oh. My God. Seishiro, you fool. As you know, Asogi escaped the prison in a closed casket and was subsequently interred. Oh, this is looking so guilty. Is the judge the one who did it? So honestly, Twice, yes. This judge here is behind everything from the start of the first game. Which, like, he looks foreboding as fuck and intimidating, so I'm not super surprised. But the level of involvement is actually, like, oh my god. We intended to dig him out of his grave before he ran out of air. The judge is pretty handsome. Well, he's a bad guy, so... But sadly, all did not go according to plan. Red flags are cute. Ah! Right. There was an unexpected visitor to the cemetery with his own ideas about digging up graves. A man who witnessed that what nobody was supposed to see. Enoch Drebber. Of course, I knew grave robbers frequented London cemeteries, but that grave on the particular night... Blasted, people find out that the convict wasn't really executed. The scandal will rock the very foundations of the Empire. Then what do we do? Shoot him, Mr. Jigo. Wow. He made Jigoku do it? Can't live now that this has happened, he has to go. Yeah, I was about to say, Kuroi, why didn't they just kill Drebber? Because he's English. And the Japanese were disposable. You promised him he could return to Japan. Everything has changed now. If the truth got out because of this, both of us would end up finished forever. Come on, Jigoku, do it. Pull the trigger. Shoot. Jigoku shot Asugi from the shadows. The grave robber was so close, the blood sprayed over his coat. He fled as fast as his legs would carry him. Then Jigoku and I put Asugi's body back in the grave from which he just emerged. When I later learned of the waxwork modeler's presence at the scene as well, I made her swear to two things. Never to remove the professor's mask, and never to speak of the events of that night. And she did both. And with that, the secret was buried along with Asugi's corpse. So, now you know what really happened in Lowgate Cemetery that night. It was Jigoku, your Japanese acquaintance, who killed Asugi in the end, you see. He claimed to be the man's friend, but when push came to shove, he pulled the trigger. They basically got him discredited and as a crazy person and ruined his life. Yeah. Just before Mr. Jigoku left the courtroom earlier, he said that the assassin exchange proposal was a demand from his British counterpart, not a request. So you coerced him too, using what happened in the graveyard. By that time, Jigoku was the Minister of Foreign Affairs negotiating international treaties with Britain. You can imagine what would have happened if it came to light he'd murdered a compatriot 10 years earlier. He would have lost everything. I merely reminded him that. How do you sleep at night? These past 10 years, I fought tirelessly with the darker recesses of London's criminal underworld. And I've used whatever means necessary to ensure that justice prevails and law and order reign supreme. That couldn't be further from the truth. The fact is, you haven't fought crime at all. How dare you! I saved Clint Van Zieks from dishonor and in his death. Whilst behind the scenes, you systematically buried anyone who stood in your way. And then, you made my father take the blame. It was unavoidable. It was the only way to protect our justice system and public order. Let's not forget the others you had killed as well. setting the defendant up as the Reaper to cover up the truth behind the murders and countless more. That's enough! Do you have any idea of the conniving that led to the acquittals of those wretched criminals? We have to fight fire with fire. Our courts can't function without a Reaper. Oh, that's not... Can't you see all I've done for this country? This has been my struggle.
Objection.
You've done nothing. It's Lord Van Zeeks here who worked tirelessly and justly in court whilst enduring the disgrace of the Reaper name. And Inspector Gregson, fraught with anguish for having sullied his hands through a desire to do the right thing. Not to mention Genshin Asagi, who risked his life going in pursuit of the truth you tried to hide. No, the darker recesses of London's underworld were largely filled by you. Little. Oh, he's going crazy. When will you get it through your thick skulls that it was all for the Queen and country? I'm tired of that excuse. You've consistently twisted the truth for bargaining power to make others do your bidding. Nothing more. People who willingly twist the truth and coerce others have no right to call themselves part of the judiciary. I strongly suggest you don't ever talk of justice again. Urgh. I forgot you were here, Susato. Oh, he's clapping. Well, 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 dear me, my good fellows, dear me. A well-deserved round of applause, I think, for quite a marvelous performance. What are you talking about? Those delightfully grave expressions, that beautifully pronounced Queen's English. Really, our friends from the Far East are quite the picture of industriousness. Broad, keep your mockery. Please, don't misunderstand. It really is exactly as you've both said. What are you trying to say? I have occupied the darker recesses of London's underworld and, how did you put it, done nothing? I confess it's a little embarrassing to have it pointed out quite so starkly, but yes, I really have done nothing, which means I can't be indicted for nothing. No. What? It's true. Personally, I have committed no crime. I've merely been surrounded by fools who've acted very rashly indeed. You can't get away with that. You've consistently preyed on people's weaknesses. What? Threatened them? Are you sure it wasn't just bargaining? I would like to address all the good lords, ladies, and gentlemen of the judiciary here present. You all know of these darker recesses in our great capital, and deep down, I believe, you also know that to fight those who dwell there requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. So let me appeal to your good sense now. Consider the situation with me. If this catalog of horrifying revelations were to become common knowledge among the 6 million inhabitants of London, what might happen? You learn that the infamous murderer of the royals and nobles was a respected member of the aristocracy himself, that evidence was fabricated in the scapegoat's trial amid secret negotiations with prosecutors to effect a jailbreak, that the Reaper of the Bailey was an organized group of assassins managed by Scotland Yard Inspector. And finally, that it was all masterminded by the Lord Chief Justice himself. And the general public of Britain knew the truth. All faith in the police and prosecutor's office would be completely lost, without a doubt. Public order in the capital would completely break down. We'd be cast down back to the lawless days of the last century. Precisely, as it was 100 years ago when 1 in 10 of the population were criminals. Think what we've accomplished since then: a public policing force, a comprehensive set of laws. And if we want to continue to protect this new era of law and order, I say again, we must at times occupy the darkness ourselves. Well, okay, you're gonna occupy the darkness via making other people take the fall for you when you need them to? We have successfully identified and apprehended the man responsible for taking Inspector Gregson's life. That is all that was expected of this trial. All these other matters have been discussed. They will be eliminated from the minutes of these proceedings in the interest of preserving law and order. We have achieved a Chief Justice who considers himself judge, jury, and executioner. Yes. And to protect Her Majesty the Queen, of course. Well, my lords, ladies, and gentlemen, what say you? He has a point. Things Lord Strongheart has done are quite unforgivable. But on the other hand, isn't it our duty to maintain law and order? You can't deny that the threat of the Reaper over the years has done wonders for the crime rate. And by fair means or foul, that's all thanks to Lord Strongheart. Strongheart! 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 Okay, is it time to phone Sholmes? I think it is. Are you hearing this? This is the will of the British judiciary? It's mementos! It is giving Persona 5 a little bit. For your rousing response, friends, I express my heartfelt gratitude. Therefore, in accordance with the overwhelming wishes of the court, the records shall be erased. You have to respect the man's ability to turn a situation to his favor. Lord Strongheart really is a master of manipulation. You've conclusively proven his guilt. Yet, he still manages to evade justice. I just don't know what we can do. Inosuke. Looks like the trial really is going to come to an end now. I'm almost out of options, I think. Wrong! There's really only one path left open to me. No. We are not gonna kill him. I think we have to use evidence. Yes, as I know only too well. The only thing that carries any weight in court is hard evidence. But, Mr. Naruhodo, what evidence is there to use at this stage in the trial? I have an idea. I don't know whether anything will come of it, but if there was ever a time for using this particular item, it's now. Give it! Sholmes!
Take that!
Oh my! Yes, Mr. Sholmes asked you if you had that with you earlier. It's time for the red wig! We've exposed all of Lord Strongheart's wrongdoing now. I've no doubts that Mr. Sholmes had already deduced exactly how the trial would unfurl. So I think it must be time for the great detective to take center stage, don't you? Yes, absolutely. Let's take the hair by the ears then, and heave! Bankai! Alright, here goes. Heave! Ow, ow, my dear fellows, must I remind you every time, a gentle tug will suffice. Mr. Sholmes, you're looking in quite the wrong direction, Mr. Naruhodo, because I'm over here. Mr. Naruhodo, he's... It's Mr. Sholmes? What? I wasn't expecting you back, Sholmes. Delighted to be here again, Lord Strongheart. What is the meaning of this? Bailiff, seize him! Put that man in irons! This is a closed court. You've been warned once already, man. Oh, this is iconic. He can't be grabbed because he's a hologram. What the? We can't get a hold of him, my lord. What is this? Wait, what is he doing? Just go right through him! Oh! I'm afraid your efforts are wasted, you see. The great detective you see before you is composed entirely of light and shadow. An image, if you will. Mr. Naruhodo, I must congratulate you on your fine deductions. Naruhodo's face, though. Mr. Sholmes, what on earth is... familiar, I wonder? The invention known as the telephone. Well, yes, I hear that some public telephones have been installed recently in Tokyo. The sound of the speaker's voice is converted to an electrical signal and transmitted instantly to another place. Quite. Sounds are transmitted. So, could not images keep them company, I mused. Iris and I did some modest experimentation to develop such a device specifically for this day. Modest experimentation, Mr. Sholmes. What a modest description. And somewhat identically, I thought we might just as well transmit an entire scene. Somewhat incidentally, Mr. Sholmes? Now you're just being immodest. Do you mean to say you're not actually here, Sholmes? And I knew my trusty partner would have no trouble grasping the concept. Except he's grasping the stand to steady himself after your shock arrival. Poor father. I would have hoped that he might have been forewarned, being the great detective's great partner. Leave my courtroom at once! Get out, or I swear to you! Dear me. You, on the other hand, Lord Strongheart, appear to have a very poor grasp of the situation. Allow me to reiterate, I am not here. Which would, I hope, lead naturally to one thing. Where exactly are you? Very question I was awaiting. I am at present enjoying the air in a rather splendid garden. Garden? Not just any garden, you understand. A garden at Buckingham Palace. With the Queen? Not Eden's garden! That's... oh god, I feel so bad about that.
You'll never get out.
You... what? You can't be! Buckingham Palace? What's Buckingham Palace, Miss Susanoo? I've never heard of it. Do you ever read the news, Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Sholmes? Is Iris with you there? Ah, well now, Iris is currently enjoying some tea. With Her Majesty. Her Majesty? Not just Her Majesty, you understand. Her Majesty the Queen of the British Empire. What? What? What on earth is all this about? Buckingham Palace is Her Majesty the Queen's residence in London, Mr. Naruhodo. Order, order in court. I demand immediate silence. And now Queen's Blade. This game really has everything. I'm telling you, this game is godlike. Her Majesty the Queen. No, it can't be. I mean, no. This is some sort of unforgivably distasteful trickery by a third-rate detective, that's all. Unforgivably distasteful trickery. What an apt description. A closed court session attended by elite members of the judiciary is a rare event. I presume that Her Majesty would be more than a little curious about the proceedings. You know the best thing about Sholmes Rosen? He literally acts like the biggest himbo, dumbass, insane person. And the whole game, he knew what was up and is just fucking with you. The entire game. It's literally like he's Detective Nagito. He had to conceal his power for the final arc in true anime fashion. And you know what? That's how you make Rosen like a game. You be anime as fuck at the ending. I know why you like Cold Steel. So, I decided to show her everything from start to finish. Huh, you showed her? Indeed. By dint of the Herlock-Sholmes remote cinematograph. You meddling. This is some kind of nightmare. Just as I appear to be standing before you, regaling you with talk of my latest invention, no doubt you've inferred that the reverse is also true. You don't mean... Her Majesty has seen and heard every moment of the proceedings. I assume there would be no objection, after all. Every trial in this country is conducted under the auspices of Her Majesty, as you know. I confess, I'm quite impatient to hear Her Majesty's opinion about the unforgivably distasteful trickery in which you've been engaged over the past 10 years. No, I was merely... oh, I'm so sorry to keep you all waiting. Vicky and I had so much to talk about.
Yes! Yes!
Not Vicky for Queen Victoria. Unbelievable! Okay. This is a top-tier ending. Iris, there you are. In fact, I have a little message from Her Majesty. A message? Well then, if everyone is sitting comfortably. Forthwith and with immediate effect, all authority previously afforded to male Strongheart is hereby revoked forevermore. Furthermore, he will be prosecuted for crimes against his country in a public trial by jury in the coming days. So, it seems Her Majesty doesn't believe we need to fight fire with fire. Justice in this country needn't be administered from the shadows at all. Male Strongheart, the darkness you fostered to conceal your despicable actions these last 10 years is a thing of the past now. After today, your brand of law and order has no future, because no longer are you the Lord Chief Justice. In the eyes of the law and of Her Majesty the Queen, you are nothing but a criminal. Adjourned! 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 Court is adjourned! Oh! Babbles. This has been a very top-tier ending. I know. I know. I've been messaging Steven because he's at a gig tonight and I had to keep him up to date. Lord, he's at the... Oh my. Lord Clint Van Zeeks left a will in which he confessed to everything. Those words came out of Asugi's mouth. It deranged me. I knew I must do anything and everything in my power to contain the situation. But I couldn't find the damned document. I searched his cell, but it wasn't there. Which precipitated the jailbreak plot, I presume. What do you mean? The need to obtain that will was all-consuming. I was sure that if I facilitated Asugi's escape, he would emerge with the will somewhere on his person. But despite searching his limp body in the cemetery that night, it still eluded. It never even crossed my mind that it was concealed in the sword's hilt. What pains me now is that my brother left this world without a word to me. Sorry, Lord Van Zieks. In point of fact, I think perhaps that isn't the case. Sorry? How can that be? There is more to his last will and testament. What? I love this, graphic here. As I confront the prospect of my demise, I feel bitter regret for my young brother. Barrick, you've always looked up to me, and now you follow in my footsteps to become a prosecutor. It is my fervent wish that my unspeakable deeds should never hinder your advancement. I ask not for understanding, for none could understand my depravity. I ask only for forgiveness. Sure. Asugi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final two wishes. The first is that the document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find a resolution in my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friend, I rest my quill. Clint Van Zieks. Clint. Story time! How is locals? I know, this has been so good. Vale Strongheart. You colluded with Seishiro Jigoku in a criminal plot so immense it expanded the oceans. You got second? What? Wait, who'd you lose to? That's awesome! Oh my god, story time. I always told you you're good at the game. Omnidig? Eltnum, huh? Eltnum's a jerk. So is Akatsuki, so that's what you get. Anyways, yeah. Why did you set about that now, a whole decade later? To ascend to the very peak. These last 10 years made me realize being the Lord Chief Justice wasn't enough. Short of becoming Her Majesty's Attorney General, I could have no real power to effect the changes needed in this country. And for that promotion, I needed to ensure no remnants of the past remained. How could you? I like everything to run smoothly, in the exact manner that I prescribe, like a well-oiled machine. And I was just a step away. And for your ambition to succeed, did you ever bother to count the number of brilliant people you had killed? Mr. Reaper, are you not forgetting something? Such as... You've very much adopted your usual prosecutor-like demeanor in the proceedings now. But the reality of the situation is that you are the defendant in this trial. However, the presiding judge would appear to have fallen from the bench, as it were. May I suggest, therefore, that we entrust the final adjudication to an old friend. My lord! As a member of the judiciary, I have been following the proceedings from the gallery, and I must say, I shan't ever forget the extraordinary battle between good and evil that I witnessed here today. The darkness that has blighted justice in our land these past 10 years has at last been dispelled, thanks in no small part to the efforts of a bright young star from the east. Defense Counsel Naruhodo. Yes, my lord? On behalf of everyone here present in the Old Bailey, I give you my heartfelt thanks. Too kind, my lord. First time I faced you in court, just under a year ago now, I had the faintest of intimations that if British justice, so warped and twisted over its long history, was finally to know change, this might just be the man to do it. What? At the time, I wouldn't allow myself to acknowledge the possibility I couldn't overcome my hatred for the Japanese after the circumstances of my brother's death. Mr. Naruhodo, allow me to apologize for countless discourtesies on my part. You are a lawyer of boundless talent. Oh, Lord Van Zeeks. When I first arrived in Great Britain, I was literally a nobody, and certainly not a lawyer. Truth is, my fortunes have entirely been made by the miraculous people I've met. My best friend, Kazuma Asogi, who led me here to Britain in the first place. My loyal and ever-patient judicial assistant, Miss Susato, who helped me study to become a lawyer. The brilliant Lord Van Zeeks, who never failed to challenge his Japanese rival. And not to mention, the exceptional master of logic and reasoning, who showed me the true art of deduction, Mr. Sholmes. I love how they act shocked when he shows up. Saving the best for last, Mr. Naruhodo. What a relief. I'm well aware that without all these people's help and support, I wouldn't be here where I am today. The truth is a guiding light that always leads to happiness. I've lived by that principle for a long time now. But actually, it's not true. The truth can also cause great pain, sometimes even leave people on the brink of despair. I saw the guiding light comment, yes. Ryunosuke is a ranger, confirmed. And for that reason, there are those who feel the need to hide the truth, who do it instinctively even. But as soon as we allow our eyes to settle on something other than the truth, the darkness takes hold. And from there it grows, until eventually, it makes us blind to the guiding light of the truth altogether. So, that's why it's my belief that we must all resolve never to avert our eyes from what is just and true. So that we can continue to walk the straight and narrow path ahead. It could be a game path, yeah. Well, I must excuse myself now. But before I go, Mr. Naruhodo, let me compliment you on your grand opus. What? Without your beautifully composed case against Lord Strongheart, Her Majesty would have been unable to act. Thanks to you and your fellows, the haunting undertones corrupting Britain's justice system, bless you, have been silenced. Thank you very much. Storytime says, bless you, Kip. So, until our paths cross again somewhere. Well then, it would appear that this long trial has finally come to an end. My apologies for any anxiety caused, my lord. I'm quite sure we shall meet again here in the courtroom before long. Prosecutor Barrick Van Zeeks. You clip the Sholm jump scare. In conclusion of these proceedings, I hereby declare the defendant, Barrick Van Zeeks, not guilty. Yay! That was a great ending to the trial. That is all. Court is adjourned. It really is all over. But did I sacrifice too much? Mr. Naruhodo, I really must congratulate you. It was a truly, truly splendid performance. Honestly, I couldn't be happier for you. Oh, thank you very much. But I really couldn't have done it without you at my side through it all, Miss Susato. Oh! Your kind words mean so much to me. It really was a very splendid show, that, Naruhodo. I'd have thought you'd be smiling from ear to ear, but you look rather glum. Well, of course I'm delighted about the verdict, but in exposing the truth, I'm afraid I've caused my client a great deal of pain. I'm really not sure that's what a lawyer is ought to be doing. Oh well, in that case, I'm quite sure that when you see Lord Van Zeeks' smiling face, everything will seem much better. Yeah, nice smile. Miss Susato? Everything seems worse. He has a face like thunder. Oh dear, I really shouldn't have presumed. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Almost a year it's been now since I first encountered you here in this very courthouse. For you have risen to the level of excellence you demonstrated today. Well, it's quite remarkable. But I exposed the most unpalatable truth you could ever have imagined in court today. I feel as though I've robbed you of something you held so dear. What was it he said? To fight those who dwell in the darkness requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. That was just the feeble excuse of a coward. Only those with a steadfast eye for the truth have what it takes to fight the dark forces of crime. You made fine work of establishing that fact in court today. Oh. Well, thank you. What magnanimous words. I'm quite sure that Kazuma-sama would have a smile on his face at this very moment if he were here. Kazuma. He does not look happy. Miss Susato, there's another face like thunder here. Oh my, and he really was here. Lord Van Zeeks, allow me to congratulate you on your acquittal. Congratulate me, or curse me. You failed to bring down the Reaper. I owe you an apology. No, it is I who should apologize. Your father, Genshin, if I had been stronger, then perhaps I made an unforgivable error in judgment. I can offer no excuse. And I can offer no forgiveness. That said, I suppose you fought for justice and the truth. For that, at least, I can't withhold respect. They're both tsundere. Your words mean more to me than you could know. I will hold them dear. Kazuma-sama. I must say, there's one thing that's still bothering me. What's that? The will that Lord Clint Van Zeeks wrote before his duel with my father. 2 of our 3 boyfriends are finally getting along, and the other one helped us solve the case, so we're like chilling. Asagi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final 2 wishes. First is that the document survives. The second, I cannot commit. I confess my sins to my wife. May she find resolution at my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friends, I rest my foot. What can the second of his final wishes have been? And your father agreed to honor, you mean? I think perhaps... Oh. I might be able to shed some light on that. What? Father? It was 10 years ago, as you know, the day before the execution was scheduled. I went to the prison to say my farewells to Genshin. Shit. There's another gag left? Why aren't you putting up more of a fight, Genshin? If you'd only agreed to it, Seishiro and I would gladly petition the government. Been through this already. You don't need to worry about me. Anyway, Yujin, I have a favor to ask of you. Something of great importance. One of my greatest friends, Genshin. Whatever it is, consider it done. I'm going to tell you an address. I need you to go there at once, in secret, and telling no one. You should find a lady of the gentry in hiding there. Lady of the gentry? She's not in a good way, and she's with a child. Birth is imminent. As a medical man, I'd like you to attend to her. Please, you're her only hope. By any chance, is a child yours, Genshin? Be daft. The favor that was asked of me by a man I knew, as his dying wish. My goodness. I swore to the man that I would help. That I would do whatever I could for his wife and his unborn child. The child's Iris, right? But if something should happen to me, I need to ask you that same favor. You're the only person I know that I can rely on. What did you say? If something should happen to you, tomorrow night, you're going to be... You never know, though, do you? What life will bring. Alright, then. Tell me the address. I'll head there at once. Seishiro and... No, not with him. Pardon? This is a favor I'm asking of you. And only you. Right. I see. Very well, then. That very night, I caught a train from Paddington to Dartmoor in Devon. I found the old house, in the middle of nowhere it was. An old hunting hound lay asleep in the grounds. The poor woman was on the floor at the back of the darkened room. She was in mortal danger. I broke her waters to precipitate labor before she weakened further, but it was a torturous birth. I did everything humanly possible for her and her child. And in the end, I was lucky enough to welcome a new life into the world. But tragically, my efforts to save the mother's life were in vain. I held the healthy newborn girl in my arms and wept for longer than I care to remember. Eventually, in something of a daze, I looked around the room. There was a There was precious little in it, but an old travel trunk caught my eye. It had clearly been well overlooked, well looked after over the years, made of top quality leather and fine stitching. But it was when I saw the emblem on the side that everything dropped into place. B for Baskerville. So, Iris is actually Van Zeeks' niece? You mean the woman was the wife of Lord Clint Van Zeeks? That's right. The newborn was his daughter. But that makes no sense. Why on earth wouldn't Clint have entrusted the child to my care in that case? I was completely unaware that he even had a daughter. I suppose he didn't really have any choice. But, well, your brother said that he'd confessed everything to his wife, so she must have been beside herself with worry for her child. If the true identity of the professor were ever to be made public, the girl would have been forever branded as the daughter of an infamous mass murderer. Ugh! So the only solution was to distance the young girl from the Van Zeeks family as much as possible. I don't believe it! I imagine that in his final hour, Lord Clint Van Zeeks made the obvious choice. He would have thought to himself, this Japanese man here is someone I can trust. I honored my promise to Genshin, of course. However, only a month later, I was summoned back to Japan, and without disclosing the parentage of the child, I couldn't obtain permission to take her with me. Oh, how awful. I was completely at a loss. In the end, I had to ask my great friend. I asked him if he would be a father to her. Chalmers, I presume. Yes. He took one look into my eyes and agreed to it on the spot. Mr. Sholmes. He has the heart of gold. Really, all it can be said that I did for the child was to give her a name. Oh? When I'd come to Britain, I was trying to escape from the grief of losing my darling wife. So it was her name that I gave the little girl. What? Your wife's name, Professor Mikotoba? In other words, the name of my mother. Ayame Mikotoba. Oh! That's right, Ayame, or in English, Iris. Iris. I had no idea. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, what's wrong? This little thing just pinched me on the behind through my trouser pocket. Hard! Ah, my dear fellows, can you hear me? Mr. Sholmes, is that you? Ouch! Yes, we can hear you! You see what excessive tugging can do? Let that be a lesson to you. Mr. Sholmes, we weren't able to thank you properly before, but you were simply marvelous. Your checkmate move was a stroke of genius. Indeed it was, wasn't it? I surpassed myself, I feel. It had become apparent to me that to stop the Lord Chief injustice would require such measures. Bruno, Susie! Oh, Iris. Oh, I'm so pleased. What a wonderful outcome. Her Majesty Queen Vicky said she thought my special blend was delicious. Oh, I'm sure she did. After all, no one brews a more delicious tea than you do, Iris. Let's have a party to celebrate. And Mr. Reaper, you simply must come too. What? I'm afraid I couldn't. The Reaper of the Bailey. Oh, the Reaper of the Bailey, flustered by a 10-year-old girl again. I was gagged when she said that too, story time. I have the hiccups. No, really? No, really? Oh, poo. But I give you my word that I shall present myself at your residence in the near future to express my gratitude. Oh, how lovely. You've promised now. I won't let you forget. Bye for now, then. Alright, Iris. Thank you for all your help earlier. Oh, that was nothing. Just come back home soon. Ouch! One final pinch goodbye, was it? Well, I think I ought to be leaving. Lord Van Zeeks, would you care to accompany me? Certainly. Ah! Wait, our boyfriends are leaving together? Mr. Naruhodo, allow me once again to express my deep gratitude to you. I believe you saved my life. Wait, Lord Van Zeeks. Yes? What are you intending to do now? Well, clearly, I shall have to resign from the prosecutor's office. Oh no. I intend to publicize the full truth about the professor case. Once that's done, the Van Zeeks family will be ostracized completely from London society. Surely not. So as soon as I am free from my employment, I shall leave the capital. Oh, I see. Don't be a fool. Are those the actions of a man once feared as the mighty Reaper of the Bailey? I beg your pardon. For the past 10 years, you've endured this pseudonym and been cast as one of the Dark Forces yourself. Now that you've finally been freed from that disrepute, your battle is just beginning, surely. Well, I certainly never expected to hear those words from your lips. I waited a very long time to come to London. Now I'm properly here. I intend to learn all I can. Anyway, goodbye for now, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Fuck? Kazuma Asuki. It seems as though he's really matured suddenly. He's not the only one who's matured, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, I think we should make our way back to Baker Street. We must help Iris with tonight's dinner. We must. It was then that I came to an important decision about my future. I'm home. About time you got here. Been waiting ages, Odo. What are you doing with that colorful piece of history? It's a party, in it. It's gotta go off with a bang. I mean fireworks, ideally. But when you ain't got fire, smoke's the next best thing, ain't it? There's a girl on Fresno Street who could help you with that, I think. Yeah, that crazy firework bitch. Right, I'll remember that. You don't have to reload the thing every time I speak. Really must hear this. It's quite the extraordinary thing. I assure you it will defy your expectations. Take down every detail now, Mikotoba. World-famous detective regaling his partner with the tale of his adventure. A sight to behold. Would you care to hazard a guess? Where do you suppose the fiendish runaway had concealed himself? Would you believe? Inside the trunk I found abandoned in his cabin. I would believe it, yes. I say, Mikotoba, I detect not a hint of surprise. I wonder why that is. Maybe because I was there at the scene as well, Schultz. What? You were? Then why the deuce didn't you say so before? Not quite the sight I was expecting to behold, but still. it's hard not to feel privileged to see it. Hello, Mr. Sholmes, Professor Mikitoba. I'm finally back from the Bailey. And not a moment too soon. A feast prepared by Iris and Miss Susato awaits. I must say, I haven't seen Susato looking so happy in a very long time. Ah, Runo, there you are. Dinner is on the table, everyone. Please do come and take a seat. Time to fill my boots. Goodness, is that really true, Gina? Yup, I'm losing my copper's clobber and going back to what I'm known best for, a diver's life for me. You're really leaving the police force, but why, Ginny? Well, the boss ain't around no more, so... Oh. And anyway, no matter how hard I try, that Reaper ain't never gonna accept a diver turned dick. Is he? Well, people can change, you know. Ah, yes. That reminds me. I rather thoughtfully offered to relieve the bailiff of this now defunct piece of evidence. It's the inspector's pocket watch, and the crown's been reattached. Not playing Gregson's theme when this happens. That watch was his pride and joy, a symbol of his great achievements at Scotland Yard. 10 years without fail, it measured every second of the man's remarkable career. But now, it stopped. Someone needs to keep the memory of the Inspector Gregson's career alive by taking on the great responsibility of winding that watch every single day again. Yes, someone with an equally fierce detective spirit. It's gotta be me. There ain't no one else. Quite right. I mean, after all, the boss was... Well, he was my boss. Yes, Ginny, yes he was. Oh yeah, and I made you a promise and all, didn't I, Iris? That I'd become a proper detective one day and track down your old man. Oh, well. Oh. Alright then, it's decided. I'll do it, and I swear, I'll find your dad and bring him kicking and screaming. He is dead, dead, dead. I'm not entirely sure that would be appropriate. Yes, I think, Gina, it might be best to, well... I think I'd like you to forget that promise, Ginny. Rosen. Iris?
Pardonnez-moi.
Well, obviously, I've always wondered about who my real daddy is. Of course I have. I wanted to know where I've come from. I thought it might tell me something about myself. But I've caused such a lot of trouble trying to find out. For so many people. Hurley, Bruno, Professor Mickey. Oh, no, not at all, my dear. Really, you owe me no apology. Well, anyway, I've decided to give up on it, because I finally realized my daddy is the greatest in the world. I don't think it matters what his name or where he's from. Don't you agree? Hurley? Every word, Iris. Aw, he's her dad. It's so cute. Thank you, Hurley. Thank you, Daddy. I think, Mikitoba? Yes, Mr. Sholmes? I think I ought to express my gratitude to you. Oh. 6 years, you and I solved many a mystery together. And during that time, I remember countless expressions of gratitude for our good service. But a moment ago, I heard the most pleasing expression of gratitude of them all. Now, and I should never have experienced it were it not for you. Old softy Schultz. But I must confess, it's a weight off my mind to hear you say it. Well then, I think this calls for a lengthy violin recital, wouldn't you say? Oh well, The food would go cold. That's the only problem. Maybe next week, Hurley. Are you sure a week is long enough, Iris? Ha ha ha! Even amidst the most troubling of cases, even reeling from the most shocking of revelations, returning in the evening to this suite of rooms, there's always warmth and happiness to be had. The home of the world's greatest detective, and my home too, with my greatest family. This attic room has been my home and office for almost a year now. I've certainly had some unforgettable experiences whilst I've lived here. But I think now the time has come. Time to bid this place farewell. Naruhodo. Oh, thought it would be Susato. Lord Winks? Yes. Oh, Professor. Are you alone? I didn't hear any sound from Susato's room. Yes, Susato-san went out after dinner. She took a carriage. Something about an important matter she needed to take care of. Ah, I see. I wanted to thank you for what you did earlier. Oh? With Iris, I mean. When the subject of her father came up. Lord Clint Van Zeeks. I made up my mind many years ago I would never tell her who her real father was. It's what was agreed with Genshin, after all. Clint Van Zeeks' final wishes before he died, you... Yes, I've had to take some rather drastic steps at times to protect that secret, you know. Calling Susato back to Japan 6 months ago, for example. That's why? When I read Soseki-san's report of his final days in London, my heart nearly stopped. We'd stumbled across the crux of that terrible case, the dog's collar. The description of the Baskerville insignia left me no doubt. He was blackmailed. Basically, Strongheart told him if he killed Genshin, he would make him Foreign Minister of Affairs for Japan. So he got swayed by power, pretty much. And not only did he kill Gregson, but he also killed Kazuma's father. He's the one that shot him in the cemetery. Baskerville. If you decided to investigate that insignia, sooner or later you'd have made the connection to Van Zeeks. And to make matters worse, Susato knew of the unpublished story as well. The story that Iris had written based on my notes from the time. And no. Ah yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Exactly. Oh, it was called The Hound! It was a work of fiction, but based on the grim reality of a huge beast of a dog that was used as a murder weapon. A dog with the Baskerville family emblem around its neck. Armed with those two clues, I feared you and Susato might arrive at the truth. So I invented that story about having collapsed to justify her leaving London and returning to Japan at once. All in aid of halting any investigations she might have been contemplating. See. Something I've never understood is why Susato-san came across that manuscript in Japan, though. You know, Iris's Hound of the Baskerville story, I mean. Shom sent it to me. That was before Susato left Japan. She was very troubled about what should be done about it, you see. I'd read it and carelessly left it on my desk, which is where Susato came across it, of course. Ah. It was the only case Sholmes and I ever pursued that I didn't record in the detail. I was stunned when I discovered that young Iris had pieced together so much of it from my paltry notes. Sholmes and I discussed the matter and decided that we couldn't allow the story's publication. At that point, I returned the manuscript by post to Sholmes for safekeeping. So, you did all that to stop Iris from finding out about the truth of her father. That's right, because Sholmes had told me how astute she'd become. However, having witnessed events in court today, I must say my opinion has somewhat shifted. Oh? I think at some point in the future, the time will come for Iris to know the truth. And when it does, well, I believe it will be for the best. I think so too. Actually, Professor, I wanted to talk to you about something too. Judging from that expression, I'd say you've come to a decision, have you? Yes, I have. I will be returning with you to Japan. Are you quite sure? I'm really only here as a substitute for Kazuma. And he's here in Britain now, as originally intended. Locum student Naruhodo doesn't really have a right to stay, I think. I see. Looking back now, when I first arrived here in February, my becoming a lawyer just seemed to be the way things turned out. With Kazuma, Susato-san, and Mr. Sholmes all gently pushing me in that direction. I spent the best part of a year immersed in this world, but always aware of a seed of doubt inside me. Until today. Standing in that courtroom earlier, all doubts vanished from my mind. I was totally focused. I was sure of my belief in my client, and I was sure I could see the trial through. And at the end of it, I finally realized no one else chose this path for me. I chose it myself. The path of a defense lawyer, eh? Yes, that's what I am now. That's what I'll be going back with you to Japan as. And that's the path I'll be following for the rest of my life. Well, it sounds like you've made quite a resolution there. I have. Very well then. I must say it's extremely welcome news. I shall make arrangements for your return first thing tomorrow, but I don't imagine we'll depart for a few days. Not with the symposium having been cancelled. Such a shame. Never mind, I'm sure there will be other opportunities in the future. Well then, I'll bid you a good night. Aww. Susato-san? I just wanted to let you know I'm back. Did you, hear what your father and I were discussing? I'm sorry, I did, yes. I couldn't help but... Oh, how much did you hear? Well... From the part about Iris's real father, I think. In other words, from the beginning. So you've made up your mind. You'll return to Japan and continue working as a defense lawyer. Please come with us, Susato. Ah, yes, I'm sorry. I really should have consulted you about it. I did want to earlier this evening, actually, but you'd already gone out. Oh no, that's quite alright. I already knew that's what you'd decide, Naruhodo-san. Did? Susato-san? Yes? Suppose this means it has to be farewell soon. I suppose. You'll be a great help to Kazuma going forward. I mean, I know he's a brilliant lawyer, but he's new to the British courtroom. certainly benefit greatly from having a brilliant judicial assistant by his side. Oh, I'll do my very best. Wish I could say it, but I just can't. I can't ask her to come with me. After all, I was always supposed to be coming to Britain as Cosmo's assistant. It's growing late. We should both try to get some sleep. I'm sure you must be exhausted after today. Oh, yes, you're right. Before I retire, let me just say one more time. You really were quite splendid in court today. So if you ask me, anyone who thinks of you as a substitute or a locum should be ashamed of themselves. Sato-san. Oh, this is when I'm awake for work. Can't believe this day has finally come. You're really leaving then, Runo? Great, so Iris. Thank you so much for everything. I don't know what I'll do without your wonderful cooking and delicious tea. Oh, I wish you weren't going. But you have to come back and visit. Say you will. Of course, I promise. Well, it was a very brief reunion, but it's a pleasure to pursue a case with you again after so long. For a while, at least, it felt like old times. Yes, I suppose on reflection, there's something to be said for it. Having a little fun once in a while. I'll just go and say goodbye to the professor as well, I think. Alright, Iris, you do that.
Susato-san.
I've just checked, Naruhodo-san. Your luggage is already on board. Such a beautiful morning. Perfect for embarking on a journey, isn't it?
Before I set off, I'd just like to say how thankful I am for everything you've done for me. And give my warmest regards to Kazuma, please.
Actually, I think you ought to give him your regards in person, don't
No,
you?
no, no, no! I want her to say she's coming with, please!
Sorry?
Ryunosuke.
Kazuma! What are you doing here?
Do you really think I'd miss my best friend's departure?
Thanks. To be honest, I'd been looking forward to our wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's capital, but,
Well, we'll have to save that for another time. Personally, I'm looking forward to facing you in court again.
Me too. But, we're both defense lawyers, so,
I'm going to become a prosecutor.
Yeah, okay, that's expected.
I'll stay in Lord Van Zeek's tutelage for the time being, but before long, I intend to be just as formidable as the Reaper himself.
Oh, I see.
Actually, Ryunosuke, I have a favor to ask.
Name it.
I'd like you to take care of this for me for a while.
Karuma? Why?
Because I've seen it now. I've seen
They lived
what's
there for a
inside
year
me.
or twice,
The
so they
demon
picked up
that
the
reared
accent.
its ugly head that day. It was only for the briefest of moments. The last time I came face to face with that inspector, but it was unmistakable. I wanted to kill him. I've always known there are demons that live inside people. And now I know there is one in me. The fact that it very nearly consumed me is something I'll carry with me until the end of my days.
You say bye-bye like Karina? Yeah, that's a sign that you've been in the community.
While I devote my life to fighting those whose demons have got the better of them. As a prosecutor.
So, that's what
Look
you've
twice, it's
resolved
fine
to
if you
do,
don't want to
is it?
admit.
Until I'm ready to face the demon within me. To slay it once and for all. I leave this in your care. If you'll take it.
Of course I will. I'll keep it by my side. Always. Until we meet again, then. You have your path to follow, and I have mine.
Naruhodo-san? The path you're going to follow from now on. I wonder if I might follow it at your side. Unless I feel a
Yay!
burden.
What? I mean, I would very much like you to come with me. But aren't you...
You're so predictable, Ryunosuke.
I am?
Honestly, you never change at all. But that's what I like about you.
You mean you knew about this?
It was the evening after Lord Van Zeek's trial came to an end. She came to see me at the prosecutor's office.
Really? Or when I had that conversation with Professor Mikotoba?
So, you'd go with Ryunosuke back to Japan?
Yes. I know it's unfair of me to follow my own interests like this.
Coming here especially to tell me.
Aww,
You're a
I'm so
stickler for etiquette, aren't
happy.
you? Well, what are his feelings?
We've never discussed it, of course, and Naruhodo-san has made no such suggestion. I worry that perhaps I'd be a burden to him.
He's just as much of a stickler for etiquette as you are. He'd never say anything before he was asked. But I'd feel happy knowing you were with him. Look out for him on my behalf, will you?
Of course.
Good ending. Best ending.
Susato-san.
What do you think, Naruhodo-san?
No trial would seem too daunting.
All systems online.
So if you're willing, I'd be honored if you'd come with me. Together we can take on the world.
I'm terribly incompetent, but if you'll have me, I'd be delighted.
Oh, no, not at all. If anyone's terribly incompetent, it's me.
Yeah.
Ah! What's wrong?
Your luggage, Susato-san. There's no time. The ship's going to set sail any minute now.
It's all right. There's no need to worry. As it happens, my luggage is
Already
already
boarded.
on board too.
It is?
Atta girl,
Your
Susato.
fine judicial assistant has everything in hand as always, I see.
Bruno, your ship's about to leave.
Okay, it's the way her
Time to go
actual
then.
voice sounds like mine that
Look
I
after
gave her.
yourself, Ryunosuke.
Kazuma, draw your sword.
He's like in public? Apparently.
One day, when our paths cross, once more, we'll fight a duel of words across the courtroom. A day I eagerly await as a lawyer.
Your time?
I've been waiting to hear you say that. Partner?
They made it official. Wait, where did the tip come from? No, it is missing it. Never mind.
Don't forget me then, Kazuma.
As if I could. Ryunosuke.
Well, you did have amnesia once, so.
And Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. I'm very much indebted to you.
Indeed, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe you are.
I'll never forget all
His
you've done
voice.
for me during my time in London.
My voice was better.
Quite. I should like to think you will remember your
I would
debt
love
of
to take
gratitude.
Sholmes with. Sholmes is probably the best character in this game.
Especially when I visit you in your country.
I love Naruhodo and Susato, though.
The truth is, although many are ignorant of the fact, the world is far smaller than most folk realize.
And Van Zeeks.
Well, I'd be delighted if you came to Japan one day.
Yeah, I kind of love every
We
character,
welcome
actually.
you with open arms, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh, that sounds
Sholmes
wonderful.
cosplay?
I can't wait.
In that case, let us conclude that this is to be merely a brief parting, my dear fellows.
And that brings us to the end of my adventures in Great Britain. A peculiar twist of fate brought me halfway around the world those many months
Not
ago.
Aerith getting added to the
But
list.
that was just the start of my journey. Who knows where fate will lead me next? Still, I'm confident this won't be my last meeting with the friends I've made in London. And when we're together again, no doubt the first words I'll hear will be,
Come, the game is afoot.
The ship, with our friends from the east, sailed steadily towards the distant horizon. But Sholmes' face was alight with joy. The times may change, but a steadfast friendship will remain true, Wilson. We have but to gently close our eyes, and we are with our companions once more.
So I do just that. And when I do, I can hear his strong, familiar voice ring out.
Objection!
Until we meet again, Bruno.
Yay! We did it! Yeah, that was the end! Oh, King, you're here. Pokemon Unite in a little bit. Yay! Yeah, this was a really good ending, honestly. Alright, we have to talk about the review. All loose ends tied up. Happy ending. Susato goes with Naruhodo. All of the characters are beloved. King, last night was an exception, I'm sorry. I woke up at 5:30 on Fridays. Must forgive me. It always ends with one last objection. Listen, guys. Alright, LPT visual novel review. Alright, LPT VN review. I think this game was a solid 8.5 out of 5. 8.5 out of 10. Amazing. Very good. Very good. I really liked that this tied in everything from the first game, with things sprinkled throughout this game. Brought all together. So good, so good, so good, so good, so good. Only 8.5? What do you mean only? 8.5 is a super good rating. Not this, Croy. Yeah, I love GAA too. It's so good. It's honestly so good. Good music, good characters, good twists. Pacing issues from the first one were gone. Yeah, I think I'm very happy that we played this, guys, and it really feels like the end of an era. Great Ace Attorney 1 was back in 2021 that we played it for the first time. Here we are in 2024, finishing the second game in the pack. It's been a long time coming. Definitely love GAA 2. How dare you, Rosen? You know it was before. Magnus McGilded's pawn shop ticket had a passphrase, which was the professor. That's a gag. We will be playing other Ace Attorney games, guys, but not for a bit. We're taking a break from the series. The next 2 visual novels are going to be House and Fata Morgana and Process of Elimination. So those are the next 2. After that, Ace Attorney's kind of fair game. Fucking love Hosonaga. Yeah, it'll be the Phoenix Wright trilogy will be the next one that we play. Yeah. Anyways, guys, loved the game. I'm gonna end stream. I have to pee like a racehorse. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be doing Final Fantasy, and we'll be starting House and Fata Morgana. So I will see you guys then. Everyone have a lovely night. And I will be playing some Pokemon Unite in Discord in a bit, so see you guys there. Anyway, bye.